Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Down there.
We're going to start in just a couple minutes, and people are still joining us, and we'll be ready to roll with the Inspire by the Fire webinar tonight. And you can probably see Ric Noland there in the screen. He'll be talking about e-bikes.
I had to turn the lights off on the rig. I couldn't help myself.
Hey everyone, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Lisa Darris. I'm the Executive Coordinator for Outdoor Pursuits. And I want to welcome everyone tonight to the Inspire by the Fire series. It's a webinar series that we started this winter just to connect to the cycling community of Central Ohio on these cold, dark winter Ohio nights. So grab yourself a warm beverage, hunker down. We're going to be here for about an hour together. We are going to be talking to Ric Noland of Cyclist Connection about e-bikes tonight. Just a quick plug for next week's webinar. We'll be talking to the leaders of the Major Taylor Cycling Group and talking a little bit about their history and some challenges that people of color have had with cycling in our community. So be sure to join us for that one next Tuesday. Just a few housekeeping items. You are all on mute right now, but we'll have a chance at the end to ask questions. You can unmute yourself. It's a small group tonight. You also can put your questions into the chat box if you'd like. And we have Jeff, who is also our GOBA director. He is on the meeting tonight, and he'll be monitoring those as we go. So I'm going to introduce to you Ric Noland, and Ric and I met because I took over the Tosserve ride about 3 or 4 years ago. And when we were scouting for locations for Tosserve, it needed a home. So Tosserve is one of our epic rides, if you're unfamiliar with it. And it no longer fit well with the city of Columbus. The city of Columbus, in order to close streets and reroute traffic, they like events with 10,000 people or more. Tosserve in its heyday had about that many. But these days, Tosserve has just under 1,000 riders. So we were looking for a home for Tosserve, and I met with some folks in Canal Winchester, including Ric. And Ric, I remember, was just bent over backwards to make Tosserve a success. He's very committed to the cycling community, and it shows with his Tuesday night rides. If you've ever come out for one of his Tuesday night rides, they are phenomenal. Over 100 riders show up for these rides. The routes are fantastic. He designs the routes, and when he can step away from the store, he is there. They start and end at Brewdog. So there's always nice refreshments, adult beverages, and food afterwards. So Ric, come on over. Tell us a little bit about the store, and he's going to tell us a lot about e-bikes, including a lot of common questions that we get about e-bikes, including batteries and the different classes of e-bikes. So take it away, Ric.
All right. Hello all. So Cyclist Connection here. We've been here since 1997. I actually purchased the store in 2000. Moved to the store, and we've slowly grown and still growing. We've actually outgrown this space. So looking to add on, I think, because we've already purchased it. We're here. We're not going anywhere. We do have inventory, but it's slowly disappearing. More coming in every day. I'll talk about that later too. But I guess I'll jump into e-bikes. That's what we're here for, right? Hey, I see Dick in there. You got Annette gonna get one of these with you? Maybe? Okay. Hey, so I got a little bit of assortment of different bikes I can kind of point out and do the different things. There we are. Yeah, she's there too. So I brought a little bit of everything in. You can kind of see the differences, and I can talk about that. Lisa can be my camera person here and kind of do some close-ups for us. If you have questions, please jump in, unmute yourself. I'll answer a question, jump in there. And if it's something I'm going to get to later, I might just say I'll get to that. But first off, I guess we mentioned the different types of e-bikes. These are always the first questions I've got exactly. So you have 3 classes. You have class 1 is basically a 20-mile-an-hour e-bike pedal assist. So you actually have to pedal it. Excuse me, maybe you can see me a little better if I'm unmasked here for a moment. Pedal assist, you actually get, there's several sensors in the bike. There's a speed sensor, cadence sensor, there's actually a pressure sensor. So the pressure sensor, it'll know when you start to pedal, it'll give you some assistance in return. And how much that is up to you. You have different levels in the controller that's on the bike. So, yeah. Right, so class 1 is a pedal assist. Class 2 is actually a throttle. You can actually still pedal, of course, but you don't need to pedal. You can actually just coast along and throttle away. And that's still a 20-mile-an-hour bicycle. And then you have class 3, which is then again back to pedal assist, but 28 mile an hour. So much faster, not necessarily legal for the bike trails. I might point that out to you. But as long as you're not abusing that, you're getting out there on the trail. There is a unwritten rule of 15 mile an hour on those bike trails. But keep it cool, call out you're on your left and all, just like you normally would. But, lay back on that throttle or don't pedal so hard when you're out there on the trail. So, our most typical bike. I'll actually pull this one around here. If you can see this a little bit, maybe. Yep, okay. This is just a step-through design, kind of a casual cruiser style bike. Kind of the design, kind of around the city, upright position, comfort. It's a great commuter bike if you'd like as well. You can still load it up. It's got all the little features on it to put racks and everything, which we actually dressed one up here. Blue one in the back, maybe. Sorry.
Okay.
It's up there somewhere. Anyway, you can add the racks and everything and put your panniers on it, and they're great to get to work. And that's part of the purpose is, I used to be completely against e-bikes. I'm a purist. I'm a cyclist. I want to pedal. Who wants an e-bike? That's cheating. Okay, it's not cheating. It is actually, I have several people that have taught me a few lessons of they get out on their bikes now more than they did before. And you got to think, it's way better than sitting on the couch, okay? They're getting out. They're having fun. Lisa mentioned our Brewdog rides on Tuesday night. We had a couple of women that would come every week, and they would sit in the cars while their husbands would go riding bikes. And I knew they had bikes, so I actually questioned one of them one day. I said, "Why aren't you joining us?" And she said, "I can't keep up. I feel bad about holding people back." I'm like, "Well, we have different groups. Everybody's welcome. No one's going to get left behind." But they still felt they were too slow, and they didn't want to join. And I loaned one of the ladies an e-bike, and she got out. She came out with this, and she wasn't riding with the D group. She wasn't riding with C group. She's up with the Bs with her husband. And she's cruising, and she's pulling people, and she's loving it. And she gets out there every week now. She bought her own. And she absolutely loves it. And as soon as she did that, the other lady went out and she bought one. So we do have e-bikes out there with us as well on Tuesday nights. So it's a great thing, getting people off the couch. And it has nothing to do with being lazy. It has nothing to do with cheating. So it's getting out and really enjoying yourself. In addition to that, it's great for commuting. So you don't want to go to work and sweat, and you can't take a shower in a lot of places. So it's a great thing to get you to work, lose that carbon footprint and enjoy yourself. And it's always a better day when you start with a bike ride. So again, those three classes, class 1, class 2, class 3, it is all about, throttle or no throttle, really to make it simple. And let me see. So the other question I'd normally have then, the different classes, you kind of choose what you want to do. There's no wrong reason to that. I prefer that pedal assist. That's all we carry in the store is the pedal assist. There are also, different types. Also mid-drive bottom brackets where your motor is actually in the bottom bracket here. That's perfect. And there are some that actually have the hub motors where the hub is in here. All we carry again at this store is going to be this mid-drive. The mid-drive is much nicer. It is you're great for that. The hub drive is great for your commute, for light riding, for trail riding. It'll do a fantastic job. It'll last. But if you want to get a little more rugged, say with a mountain bike or something up here, those you absolutely have to do that mid-drive because it's so much more torque on that rear wheel when you do that hub drive. You're going to rip spokes out constantly. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a lot of issues there. So the benefit to those hub drives is they're much less expensive. So easier to get into cost-wise. Again, nothing wrong other than if you really intend to make it last, you want a nice one, go for that mid-drive. There are really good motors out there nowadays. Bosch, of course, is the number one You've got Yamaha, you've got Shimano. They're all fantastic. We do the maintenance for you, and there's very little maintenance to do, which goes to where you buy it. You want to find a reputable shop. You want to find somebody that's going to do that maintenance for you. There's a lot of shops I know you'll walk into. They don't do e-bikes. They might sell them, but they don't work on them. So do your homework there first. Buy local, whoever you're closest to. That they're going to hook you up. They're going to do you right. So hub drive, and then bottom bracket. Okay, mid drive is what they call that. Next, what would we have? Battery. Battery is my next question.
Mm-hmm.
So batteries, you have watt hours is what you're looking for. Okay, so there's 300, 400, 500 are the most common. There are several different other ones, just a little bit different here or there. But basically, really to keep it simple, your watt hours is how much life you're going to get out of it. So whether it's AA battery versus a D size battery, it's the same type of thing. You're going to get more energy, more miles out of that battery. There's so much to talk about. So really, if you got questions, chime in. There's integrated batteries. There's external batteries. They're all great. Lithium ion, most batteries are set up like that. They're very long lasting. You usually get 1,000 charges out of one of these. It's going to last you for years and years. There's battery maintenance that goes along with that, but I can talk about that too.
What kind of batteries do these bikes have?
These batteries are all, these are all the internal lithium ion. They do range from the different sizes. You can't really tell unless you actually look at that watt hours. That watt hours is basically your volts times, kind of brain dead here, sorry. But watt hours is what you're looking at. That's how long you're going to get out of it. I actually have slides on that too. But
and per charge, how far can you go on one of these batteries? Approximately.
Typically, it depends on there's so many factors to that. So if you are, how far can you go is what kind of conditions you're riding in, if you're on hills, if you're a bigger person, it drains the battery a little bit more. There's a lot of factors. So, skinnier tires, fatter tires, how much weight you're going to carry, conditions, like I say, hills or rain or anything like that make a big difference. But typically, also throttle versus pedal assist. You're going to get a little more energy out of the pedal assist. You're going to go a little further. But 40 to 70 miles is going to give you a nice range. And then with that, you're going to maybe take an extra battery. You don't want to carry your charger with you. That's not going to carry us. And then they generally take 2 hours to charge halfway. 4.5 hours typically is a full charge. And different batteries, depending on your amps in the charger, is going to give you a faster charge or a slower charge. But typically that 2 hours for half and 4.5 hours for a full charge.
So I've been asking a little bit about distance. Is this where you want me to pull up the slides?
Sure, we can talk about if anybody has questions or anything else on that. But
I'm going to put this here, guys. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got it.
You might have to fix that for me. Okay, guys, I'm going to bring up some slides that Rick had mentioned he had. Give me just a second here. Here we go.
There you go. That's fine.
Okay.
So you see there, you've got a throttle-only bike. Is going to average 25 watt hours per mile. So if you think of that very simply, 20 mile an hour average because it's a 20-mile-an-hour bike. How far are you going to get with that? And that's kind of your average riding, again, as it says, street riding, light hills, kind of around the city if you're commuting and stuff. And then next slide there, you'd be pedal assist, basically. Dun-dun. Just down here at the bottom, underneath, over to the left. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah, there you go. There.
Sorry.
Nope. Sorry.
Hope you got it. Not working.
Okay.
Next. I'm doing the arrow. There we go. There we go. I did
Okay.
the arrow, but it didn't work
So
the
weird.
first few
Okay.
times.
So pedal assist there you see then, you're going to get a little bit more. It's averages. You're only using 15 watt hours. You're going to go a little further because you're actually helping it out. It doesn't charge. A lot of people ask me if they charge when you're pedaling them. They don't have that capability yet. I'm sure it's coming. Everybody's asking. So some engineer out there is working on that. And then next, actually, then this kind of help you maybe explain this a little bit better. So throttle only. If you take that battery, you got a 500 watt hour battery, and you divide that by that 25 watt, the miles, you get 20 miles. So very simple. And then again, if you look at, go ahead, pedal assist, same thing, 15 watt hours, but you're getting a lot more miles. Instead of 20 miles, you're going a few further miles. Now, if you want to figure that out a little differently, if you want to know, you already know how far you're going. You know you're going to work. You're looking for the bike to buy, and you're going to work, and you know that's 10 miles to work, and you want to know it's going to take you there. You're not going to charge in the middle of your ride. You're going to ride 20 miles out of it. What size battery do you need? What's going to get you to work and back? What are you looking for when you go purchase? So you just kind of reverse this. Go ahead and hit the next slide. And you take your 20-mile commute, and you take that watt hours, and you times that by your mileage, and you need a 350 watt battery. So at least that. And like I said, you've got 400, 500 watt batteries and everything. So the higher you get, a little more expensive, but so much worth not having that worry that you're going to run out of battery. If you do run out of battery, it's really no big deal. You can still ride. When you're riding it, as long as you're not on those hills and everything, it feels like a regular bike. You don't feel, especially when it's at mid-drive, it's the center of gravity right there underneath you. It feels like a normal bike. You don't feel that extra weight. So it really doesn't matter that you run out of battery. Don't worry about that. And again, you don't believe me? Come in and test ride these. You got any of these you can take out in the parking lot. You can get a feel of it. Turn that motor off and just pedal it, and you'll be amazed. Like, oh, okay. They are 50-pound bikes. They're not lightweight, not like your normal bicycle. So you take that in consideration. You're thinking this is going to be a tank to carry up a hill or something. Well, yes, but it doesn't really feel that way when you're on it. So again, taking away from this, you think of what style of bike you want, what class, you want the assistance or you don't. And then I suggest that mid-drive bottom bracket again, but if your cost or your expenses, you don't want to spend that much money, hub drive is fine. And then you figure out the battery that you need, or what kind of mileage you want to do. If you want to go out on these Tuesday night rides with me, you're going to need that larger battery to enjoy yourself, because I do hit some hills. Sorry. But everybody's welcome, so you'll have a good time, especially on an e-bike. The guarantee, you come in, if you haven't ridden one before, you cannot ride one without a smile on your face when you're done. Simple as that. So, pros and cons, what can I tell you? It's all pros. There is the cons, I guess, is battery maintenance and what you have to do, I guess. I'm trying to think of what else you might ask here. Nobody's chiming in. Your battery maintenance, the difference in an e-bike versus a regular bike is you're going to have to maintain it a little bit more. You're going to have to charge that battery. And it's best if you charge the battery after every single ride. As soon as you're done riding, if you just get in that habit, got there? If you just get in that habit of charging your bike, and it's going to last a lot longer. You want to keep it between 30 and 60%, no less. You can definitely go more, but never let it get out of that range of 30 to 60%. It really helps the longevity of that battery. And again, as soon as you're done riding, plug it in. Keeping your bike clean. That goes for all bikes, not just e-bikes, but keep your bike clean. Your battery is water resistant, not necessarily waterproof. You don't want to submerge it or anything, just like anything else. But they are pretty airtight and significantly safe to ride in the rain and everything as well. You can leave them on the back of your car and ride with them. They suggest not doing that. Take the battery off. But it's not going to hurt it. It's just, don't power wash it. You don't want to like really spray into the battery area. But in addition, then I guess what you want to do, I'll put them around here. A lot of these are very simple. If it's a external battery, obviously you can get to that much easier. This is an internal battery. I'm just going to pop that out of there. And you can see right here's your plugs and everything in the bike itself. Then down here, this is the only area you want to really keep clean, and it's just wiping it off on occasion. You can use a grease. It's a really good idea to kind of grease these areas a little bit, and not just a regular grease, but a conductive type. We sell that here as well for these. Something that won't hurt anything, but the grease helps the water, and it keeps it clean. It keeps contaminants from getting in there as well. So something simple like that, but keeping this charged is a really important thing. These are about $500 on average. They can get a lot more expensive than that. Obviously, again, depending on your watt hours. So simple as this to pull in and out. These are sometimes a little more tricky. It's simple to just take that out and take it in your house. But the bike should also be stored in somewhat of a weather, how am I trying to say? Just a controlled atmosphere, basically. If you keep them in the cold, it's just like any other battery or anything on your car. You know how it tends to go dead in the wintertime. Okay, so to keep that in more of a controlled atmosphere, take it out, take it inside. You can leave your bike in the garage if you want. Mine stays in my living room. But it'll just keep it longer life. What else?
Jeff, I know you said that you might have some questions, so feel free to chime in here. Can you hear me, Jeff?
Yeah.
There you go.
Don't have anything, big questions. Hey, Rick. But one thing I wonder, when you're calculating, like the amount, the watts per hour that's being used for the battery, like on the pedal assist, does that calculation, does that presume that you're heavily using it or just sort of just casually using it? Or?
That what I showed is more of an average. So you have to kind of figure out what you might do if you're going to use the battery a little bit more. If you want to rely on that more than actually pedaling, then obviously you need something a little bit bigger. But I'm not sure what's your question exactly. I'm sorry. Go back.
Yeah, like I say, just trying to figure out, when you're making that calculation, just whether you're presuming that you're going to really be, using a lot of assist or just a light amount. But
it's knowing, everybody's a little bit different riding style for sure. And then again, figuring out the terrain you're going to ride, going to work or something like that, if that's what you're using it for commuting. if it's going to include hills or whatever, a longer route going around the city or something. So it's something you got to kind of figure out a little bit. That's why I use more of that average of, that's what I tell people when they're looking at them. I give them an average and kind of let them figure it out from there a little bit.
I guess if you were going to do, say tosser, for example, on an e-bike, and what size battery would you need, to do, just sort of maybe moderate pedal assist for the 100 miles and some hills? Is that even doable?
Yes, no. You would actually, I think for that, I think the longest battery life at, say like a 500 watt, you take one of the bigger batteries. They make them like 670, I think. Some of the specialized bikes have. Trek has one for like 653. But your typical battery, you're probably going to get 70 miles max really helping it along. So obviously tosser being that 100 or a little bit more, and then hills involved with that too, you're going to need a secondary battery. So either someone's going to meet you along the way, you're going to put it in the truck and help it down there, or they make energy packs that are separate that'll actually hook on as well. So it's like a secondary battery. Those generally are only about 250 watt hours. So not going to get you as far, but it's going to give you that extended life. They make those a little bit smaller, so they're lighter weight, less to carry. But one of those, an extended battery, that energy pack, and then your regular battery would get you all the way one way on tosser. Then you could charge it back up that night.
Had a question come into the chat from Dick. Do you plug the charger into a regular 110 volt outlet?
Yep, regular 110 outlet on all of them. That charger will do all your work. Like I say, they're a little heavy. You don't want to carry the charger with you a lot of times. But obviously, if you're doing tosser or something, you don't want to carry your stuff in the truck. You want to carry it with you. It's going to be a little added weight, but yeah. And like I said, 2.5 to 4 hours charge time. 4.5 hours for that full charge.
Sounds like a long break in Waverly.
Yeah.
Dick also asked, do the bikes have the rear derailleur and cluster and front derailleur like a regular bike does?
Some do, some don't. So it's just like a regular bike. A lot of bikes, like this particular one here. Here, let me steal that camera. This has just an internal Nexus hub. And then just the 7-speed basically shifter on it. So like the standard bike, whereas the one over here is a road bike. This has your front derailleur, Ultegra road bike, rear derailleur. Same up here on this gravel bike, a GRX setup. Front is 1 speed here. This is actually a 2. But yes, they do have all that as well. So different bikes, different things. So it depends on what you're looking at, what you're getting into.
Yeah, one thing I have a friend who has a gravel bike and just loves it. Gets a lot of range out of it. Any, I guess, advice or cautions about in any gravel bike? Is that does that work well as an e-bike?
Absolutely, that's probably one of my most popular bikes. Even over these standard bikes, I sell a lot of these. But the gravel gravel biking is getting extremely popular. A lot of people are afraid of being on the roads, more and more cars getting in the city and everything, of course. So the gravel bikes are getting a lot more popular. And the e-bikes, for a lot of those beginner e-bike people, that's probably one of the hardest. I think gravel riding is a little harder than mountain biking personally. You're going a longer distance, and the e-bike is perfect for that. So.
Okay. I don't see any more questions in the chat, but I think a small enough group. If anybody has a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself and fire away.
Yeah. So,
I think so. Go ahead.
Hey, Rick, can you show us some of the road style bikes? E-bikes?
Yeah.
You have those?
Well, this one here, I'll pop that out there a little better. I've just got the one in here to show you. I got a little bit of everything. the road bike here. This is Annette's size, by the way. You have your controls here, and kind of show you here how this works a little bit. Turn it on. It says hello. This actually has a 54% charge. So the screens now, there's a lot of these. I'll hop over here real quick on this other one too. They just have this this little style here. It doesn't really show you too much. It does. Pop it on. All right. I did charge that, I promise. There we go. So this here, kind of your basic control. There's no screen or anything. It shows you this over here is your battery life. So this one's fully charged. And this over here, this shows you it is off. This gives you like an eco mode. And then your eco plus, your kind of your standard riding. You'll jump it up to turbo or ludicrous, however fast you want to go. This also has, during our last firmware update, they have this. Let me find it again. Well, it has just the center button there, which I showed at the beginning. It is an automatic. So the automatic, go back to it here. The automatic actually, it learns your riding style as well. And it's, sorry. So that's all good. The automatic helps learn your riding style. So it learns how much pressure you're putting into the pedal, and it'll give you that much assistance the harder you press. It's pretty impressive, actually. New technology all the time. But back to the road bike here. So this one, you actually have a screen on it. If it doesn't have a screen like the other one, like Giant has, and I think most of the other companies has an app that you can get. And the app, it will just download to your phone, and you put your phone on here, of course, and it's going to read all this exact same stuff that this one does. So same ride control over here, just like on the other bike, except now you can actually see it here, and it shows your basic, your active, your sport plus. And it'll tell you how many miles you're going. Of course, I'll have to change that to miles. So many cool things about these things. You have, oh my gosh, so the road bike. It's just like your normal road bike. It's the same shifters you have here and everything. Integrated STI levers, same carbon fork, hydraulic disc brakes. You need the hydraulics on this type of bike. This is all integrated here with your battery. It just looks a little cleaner, nicer. And your standard Ultegra group on something like this. You can see cadence sensor back here, speed sensor. Carbon post.
Mechanical shifting?
What's that?
Is it mechanical shifting?
This one is, yes. They do make them with the Di2 and everything as well.
And what's the frame material?
This one is aluminum. This one is aluminum. This one's all carbon. So that's all mountain, all carbon. That's kind of cool. We're actually getting ready to put carbon wheels on this one. You can see they make a little bit of everything, just like any other bike. It's no different except adding that motor and the battery. Mm-hmm. So I think this is honestly the future of transportation. It's, again, I used to be completely against it, but I see so many benefits and so many great things, and it's getting people off the couch. So who's getting one? You or Annette? Come on. Tell the truth.
We're both going to get one.
Excellent.
When we get old enough.
Dick needs to get off the couch.
It has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with age. I have, so again, I said I brought a little bit of everything in here. And these two bikes up here, the mountain bike here, good friend of mine, and this one here, really good friend of mine. I actually stole her last bike. She got this, and she's usually like one of our D riders in our Tuesday night group, and she got the e-bike. so that she could ride gravel. And then she found herself riding a whole lot more because she loved the e-bike. And with that, it's still work. You're not cheating. You are still out there working, but now she's riding with the faster groups. And even now when she gets on her regular bike and goes out with us, she's riding much faster than she was before. So there's a lot of techniques. She's learning how to shift her gears better, how to use the weight and everything in that e-bike, and she's transferring that to her regular bike. She's in better shape than she was before.
Is that a Norco?
I've got Giant. That's a Norco mountain bike up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Norco actually has some of their e-bikes as well. They've got less inventory right now than Giant does. Giant's doing a really good job. The Momentum brand over here is also by Giant. And these are my cruiser style everyday bikes that everybody loves. We'll be getting a few more of these in this year. And we've always rented bikes over at Brewdog at the hotel. And we're going to be renting these over there at the hotel this year. So, because regular bikes still are not available anywhere. You do have a much better chance of getting yourself an e-bike. That said, just like all bikes, there's still a very low inventory of everything. Everybody's trying to catch up. And if you want an e-bike anytime in the future, get your name on one now, because we're selling out into 2023 at this point. So put this back up here. What else?
I actually have a question. So, mechanical wise, I've been dabbling, doing my own tune-ups, because I feel like I have more self-confidence if I'm out on the road and I can do it myself, like more than just a flat. If my gears are sticking or they're, phantom gears, I feel pretty confident. Can I still work on the gears on this bike?
Same thing, no different.
Awesome.
Everything's the exact same. It's like anybody. You're asking the question that everybody's. It's an e-bike. Can I work on it? It's no different. You're going to carry the exact same tools when you're out on the road. You carry that same little tire patch kit and the same little multi-tool to do all your work. And it's no different whatsoever. If you do that hub drive, there's the only real difference. They're much more maintenance to get that rear wheel off. It's not easy to get that rear wheel off. It's much heavier, of course. That's where your motor is, and you got all the wires going to that rear hub. So you got to disconnect everything. Much harder to change that rear tire as well. So one of these mid-drive units. It's like a standard bike. Everything pops on and off. No extra wires anywhere. It's all integrated. It's all internal wiring. Very, very simple for you. You got a problem? That's my problem. Lifetime labor free on these two.
Oh.
So, what else?
Nice.
I think, do they make tandems for Dick and Annette? But
I bet they do. I bet they do. I haven't seen one yet, but I'm sure they do.
My question, I guess you mentioned that they're usually around 50 pounds, so a lot heavier than a road bike. When you're out, riding the roads, are you getting a different feel, I guess, as far as handling and everything on the e-bike, or are you feeling much of a difference? Not really.
Like I say, if you can turn that battery completely off. You can turn the motor off and go for a ride, and it's amazing. It feels like a regular bike. You don't really feel that extra weight, at least in the mid-drive. Again, I don't sell the hub drives. We work on them here. I see them all the time. Of course, we ride them. We got to play with them, make sure they're all right. But you don't really feel that extra weight when it's just riding that mid-drive anyway. It's awesome.
So even like on cornering and those sort of things, you're not really.
No, it feels the same. I would even say it's probably more stable. I was telling Lisa beforehand here, if this road bike was in a medium size, I would probably have it at my house right now. It really, really feels nice. I mean, it's a great road bike. So I actually took one of them out. One point, I had my size, of course, and my Tuesday night ride, I went out and played around with it one night with the group, and pulled the A group for a little while, help them out, So yes.
I always felt a good idea for the e-bikes, since you've got the battery there, was to have heated seats.
That's doable.
Right.
Lots of accessories now, of course, too. With these, you can integrate your headlights, tail lights, and everything with that battery. So if you saw on the control there, when I kind of pointed out, there's a little spot for a headlight on there on your control. So that heated seats probably in the future too. Huh? I'm thinking that's a great idea.
I'll get a patent.
Great minds.
So you just mentioned something that I was curious about. You said you can actually turn it off. So meaning if you were doing like 100-mile ride, I mean, I'm always good my first 25 miles, right? And then like I start fading around mile 30, and then by mile 50,
that's a great way to extend that battery life.
Yeah.
To exactly.
And then as you train, you can see how much longer you can go before you turn that assist on. That's okay. So I didn't realize you can just kind of turn it off.
Ride without it.
Ride it without, and then when you're starting to feel that fatigue coming on, like you always do, at least I do because I push myself, turn it on. That's interesting. Okay. Good to know that. There you go.
So yeah, like I say, those accessories and things, lights, extra batteries,
right?
Heated seats, yes. Okay.
Yes. I'm also considering. I see all these great pictures of people pulling their dogs in trailers, and I'm gonna try it this year with my dog. Except he does weigh 50 pounds, but we'll see if I'm gonna buy one of these because that may be the only way I can pull him, but. Yeah. I'm assuming I can.
Yeah.
What's the cost range, the price?
That's the best question of all. You can get into one, again, the hub drive is going to be a lot less expensive. I've seen them for like $900 and probably going up. 1,500 is kind of the mid-range. The mid-drive bottom bracket is usually going to start around that $2,500 and go up. It is worth it. If you're spending that much already, that $2,500 is going to get you into a much better unit. Again, you spend more money for that bigger battery though too. So you get that 500 watt or more battery. They usually cost a little bit more. We got one ordered right now for a guy, again, like the mountain bike, the Norco up here. Granted, that's all carbon. But that's a 550 watt motor. That is a $7,000 bike. So they can get up there, but how much money you got? How much money you want to spend? I'll help you out. No, it's no. We'll put you in the right thing. We get you the right bike for you. You want to do your homework first to figure out how much you need that battery, how much you're going to ride that bike to get you into the right thing.
Hey, Rick, I heard you, our computer froze up earlier, and you started talking about gravel bikes. Would those gravel bikes also come with all the 26 places to mount things for like rear racks and front racks and all that?
Yep, you can even see this one here has the rear rack on it already. Grab that camera again. Yep. So this has the rear rack on it. It's got a mount here, so it's not just into the frame or anything, but it's mounted directly into here. And then the rack, it's got the racks here. You've got your mount up here on your fork. You can add fenders, double bottle cages here and here. Yeah, totally integrated. You can do everything for loaded touring. They have all the, of course it's through axle on most all bikes now too. But they have all of the correct axles if you want to pull a trailer and do that kind of thing. I prefer trailers personally rather than all the extra weight in the panniers, but yeah. You gonna do some loaded touring, are you thinking about?
I don't know how loaded. But we've been watching too many videos of people out west on gravel roads. And it looks really nice.
Nice.
Not the straight up and down in Ohio, but more
The
gravel.
long distance. Yeah, like Kansas and, those long, I think that's what's really exciting about that gravel style bike. There's just so many places to go now that you can just explore, and that gravel bike gives you that option to ride that distance or just jump off on a path and get out in the woods, and it'll do everything. So it's always the best bang for the buck.
So who makes the gravel bike you were looking at? Is that a Giant?
That's a Giant there. Again, every company pretty much is making one now. The biggest problem is size-wise. I'm still looking for an extra small. Nobody makes an extra small. So you got some of those people that just can't get on one yet. They're stuck with the kind of that cruiser style e-bike. I can't get that. No one's making that extra small gravel yet. I looked at Pinarello and everybody.
The extra small would be what, a 48?
Extra small, 48. The small is probably closer to that 51 even, but every bike is a little bit different. So probably that 50 is the smallest I can find.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. He can have the gravel all the other way.
You can get that gravel bike and throw throw road tires on it, and it'll ride just like a road bike. It's generally like a regular gravel bike. It's a little bit longer wheelbase, so it's going to ride a little bit smoother even. So unless you're looking for speed, which you've already got it with an e-bike, there's no real reason that you have to get a road bike specific, other than the fact I've got one here in your size.
And my color.
Oh, you go. So, anything else? What else you got?
Rick, in general, you mentioned sort of the, where the prices are now. Are those trending down as more and more manufacturers introduce e-bikes and maybe the technology gets more refined?
I think they would, but all the prices are going up. Just in our current situation, all the prices have skyrocketed. Same exact bike I had last year, same color, same everything. They didn't change anything except the price has gone up at least $100. So nobody's going down on price yet. Everybody's taking advantage of our situation, and prices are going up. And of course, supply and demand, what has always driven that. So not just COVID or anything, but supply and demand has definitely taken over. Everybody wants a bike, can't get them. You're going to get top dollar. You're going to have to pay to get it.
What is the top end on the size of the batteries?
Like
700?
I don't know the biggest battery out there. Like I say, I know there's that 650 out there that I've seen. But I'm not absolutely positive on the biggest battery they make. Giant in general, they have the 500 watt motor is your biggest motor, and then they have the energy pack add-on, which is at 250.
Okay.
How much does the add-on cost about?
Add-on is right there at $500 as well. But it's nice. It comes with a little bag and everything, so you can actually attach it to your bike pretty easily, and then plug it in when you need it. Very simple.
How heavy are the recharge things that you had, the chargers?
The charger itself,
Uh-huh.
maybe 5 pounds. It's not that bad. I mean, it's kind of big and clunky that you don't really want to carry it with you. It's the extra cords and everything, and the fact that it does take a while, unless you're staying the night somewhere, of course, that you have a reason to carry it. It's not something you want to carry with you. I think that that cell phone call at last resort is probably the better than carrying it with you personally.
Well, AAA come pick you up if your batteries can run out.
Well, they do have AAA for bikes, so
I know.
Mm-hmm.
that is available.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's light.
Yeah, it's light. It's not very heavy. It's just kind of bulky.
Is that brand specific?
No, not necessarily. Like I say, they have I guess more brand specific due to the plugs.
Yeah.
So the plugs are going to be very specific to the bike. But the chargers themselves in general, if you've got an adapter or something, they're generally going to work with one another. So. I keep that out on the floor because that's always charging a bike out here too. So.
On the batteries, as far as you mentioned it, they're pretty pricey, around $500 or so to replace. How many years do those last?
It depends on how much you ride. Like I say, in general, you're going to get, about 1,000 charges out of a battery, and you think of how many miles you can get out of that. 1,000 charges is going to last you for several years. We've been selling these. Oh my goodness! Like I said, I was probably late to the game. My entire staff was on me about getting in e-bikes, and like I said in the beginning, I'm kind of that purist. I'm not going to do an e-bike. I don't want an e-bike store. I want a bicycle shop. I want that hometown, good feel bicycle. Bring the kids out, get them off their butts. No motors, and then I tried one, and like I said, I see so many more benefits now. Yes, I was wrong. Damon had me record that. I was wrong. He was right. But I have not yet seen one back. The only issue I've seen a battery that was overcharged that we had to basically trickle charge it down to get it to work again. It was overcharged and wouldn't power anything. I've never seen any issues with these. They're great bikes. They're maintenance free, and they last forever. Again, it's been 6 years, I think, probably that we've been carrying them. Not so heavily as we have recently, but just onesie twosies here and there. And I've never seen any of those batteries that I've had to replace.
Yeah.
And those are lithium?
Lithium ion, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it seems like with your calculation of, I think it was the pedal assist, you get about maybe 33 miles, to a charge. You get 1,000 charges, then you would theoretically get 33,000 miles, off that battery.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that's an average, So yeah, you can get more, you can get a little bit less, but sure, I mean it's going to be a lot of miles. And you still have your regular bike to help you work out too, right? N plus one. Always need another one.
Maybe just +1 batteries, and I'll be good to go. I'll love the bike so much; it'll be the only one I need.
Once you're addicted, yes, that's pretty much what it's going to be.
Yeah.
What else can I tell you? The bigger thing. So if you're thinking about buying, this is not a definite, but I've seen little rumors and everything that there will be a federal income credit coming for e-bikes. Yeah, so just like the cars were and everything, and actually I think still some of them still are, the federal government's going to offer a credit, an income credit for your e-bike. So I think it goes up to like $1,500, I think. So obviously you can get some of those more expensive bikes and save yourself a ton of money. So
Do you have a timeline for that?
I saw a blurb on it.
Little blurb, yeah.
I saw that blurb.
Know.
I know it's coming, so but I don't know the details yet or when it's going to be. So if that helps your timeline and when you want to get in one, keep an eye out for that. Do that little research or send that note to your senator, whatever. So
Right.
So I don't know.
Right.
Bring it on.
Any other questions, guys?
So how much of your business now is e-bikes?
What's kind of cool about that is I I've got a couple friends of mine that work over here at the specialized warehouse, and they're saying that overseas, 80% of specialized business is e-bike.
Yeah.
And the last Interbike show that there was, they're gone now, but the last Interbike show that I had gone to, it was almost disappointing to me in a certain way that over half of that show was e-bikes. I mean, they're everywhere. And again, you look overseas, we're very new to it here, but it's blown up in Europe and UK. It's absolutely crazy. So here, though, I wouldn't say we're still 10% of our business is going to be e-bikes right now. But again, we're still new to the game. There's other shops in town here that are 100% e-bikes. That's all they do. Orbit City, great shop if you want to look at e-bikes and everything. If you want to see all the differences, he carries a huge range of bikes that you can kind of see the different ones. You can see that hub drive, and I'll take Tom there is my go-to if I have any major questions. He really knows his e-bikes, and he's actually the one that really talked me out of that hub drive as well. But he does carry some. He's got some of the Gazelles and everything to look at too. They're a little less expensive. It's that answer.
It's a trend.
Trend.
Coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. It's getting more and more.
America is always a little bit behind.
Yeah, I guess when you factor in the gravel bikes as well, I mean, what percent? It seemed like I saw a number a little over a year ago as far as like road bikes, and the percentage of sales, it's like really, really dropped off.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to that. People are more afraid of getting on the road. There's so many more people hit by cars, and not to dwell on that by any means, you're not going to catch me getting off my road bike. I love road riding. I love getting out. And of course, you're safer in numbers. But myself, I love going out by myself and just exploring. And it's that freedom and stress relief that you just get out and go. And I love road riding for that sense. So, but gravel bike is definitely in the future here, and an e-bike, I'm sure.
Need more gravel roads.
There you go.
Closer to Columbus, anyhow.
Yeah. Well, there's of course, if anybody's not familiar with Ohio Gravel Grinders, it's a great group that gets a lot of people out. They've got a lot of maps and things that'll take you out. They haven't been doing a whole lot lately with our situation, but they're getting back on track. They're posting more routes, and there's plenty of places to go out and ride and enjoy it. So.
Any other questions?
Oh, I was just going to say one thing, about the e-bikes that, Rick mentioned earlier, that certainly I can attest to from having a couple friends who are couples. And in both cases, it's the guy, was having some health problems and couldn't keep up. And so the e-bikes, they got e-bikes, they were just game changers, as far as them, like you were talking about, just being able to ride with friends again, and not have to work so hard.
And that's pretty sure I knew who you're talking about. And yeah, but there's a lot of that. It's whether it's a health issue or just, your spouse or partner is just a better rider than you are. And again, it goes back to that. You don't want to slow the group down. You still want to ride with them. You want to ride with your friends. Like me, I'm working all the time, and I've gotten less and less riding in. So my friends are getting more fit than I am, so I got to catch up. And, I feel bad about holding some of those groups back as well. So I can see myself on that e-bike trying to keep up with them and still enjoy that same group and that camaraderie without feeling so negative the whole time that I'm slowing them down. And I don't have any health issues. It's not just about that. So it's getting me off the couch, right?
All right. Well,
I'm pretty, I mean, I hope I've covered everything. Again, if you got any more questions, feel free, come in, test ride. I really recommend, even if you're not even in the market for a e-bike, go ride one, have some fun. They are so great. And as soon as we get them up on the website and over at Brewdog, take one of these guys out for a spin, go down the trail, and just have a blast. So much fun. Lisa?
Well, thanks, Rick. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Just a final plug for some of the upcoming events that Outdoor Pursuits has. We just announced a ride called WOBA, Western Ohio Bicycle Adventure. It's a ride that is in a way replacing GOBA this year because of what is going on still with our pandemic. It still is allowing us to have a really nice event in June. And we also just announced this week that TOSERV, usually taking place in May, is being postponed this year until September 25th and 26th. So 2 big announcements that happened this week. We will also, in the next day or two, be announcing our cycling series schedule. Cycling series consists of 10 rides, and within those 10 rides, there are different mile options ranging from 30 miles to 100 miles. And all in all, you sign up for the cycling series and you get over 30 routes that you can either ride on your own, or this year we're scheduling bike leaders on Saturday mornings, making sure, of course, that everybody isn't bunching up in big groups and wearing masks in common areas, keeping some protocol in place until we're past this pandemic. But we are resuming those. The first ride this year is Woodstock, and it is on April 24th. And then the next ride, which is hosted by Rick, that is going to be the week after. I forget the date of that, but probably I think it's the first weekend of May. So we hope to see you out for that series as well. Maybe on an e-bike. So.
Can I add one more thing, Lisa?
Yeah, go ahead.
WOBA, which replaces GOBA, but GOBA will be back in 2022. But for WOBA and GOBA, our friend Dave Bear at Bear Wheels, he's kind of our roving mechanic during the week. He is going to have e-bike charging. So for a tour that's, kind of sort of primitive camping, that was always the issue with e-bikes is, okay, how do you keep them charged during the week? Dave is going to do that. And my understanding is he's going to do it for free. So get your e-bike and go ride WOBA.
Nice.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining.